solved or resolved through political signals and government policy. Another example is
because the religion cannot be supported by the military, then the government cannot do.
thank you. We have to use of your logic analysis according to our argument. Another example, the economic crisis and the current political emergency involving Venezuela. The crisis experienced by the country is very severe. The inflation rate is very high. Certainly, it can't be resolved militarily, but only through political policy and its government. In fact, military involvement will only worsen conditions and not humans. For example, the crisis between Palestine and Israel happening in the Gaza Strip. But countries lowered their military forces to deal with this problem in hopes of being able to solve it. But what happened? The involvement of the armed forces will only worsen the situation. Every year, tens of thousands of people die. Small children, elderly, teenagers, and adults become victims of war. Not only that, economic losses are also very large. Buildings are destroyed, houses space of worship, school buildings are leveled to the ground. What are the losses that occur each year? Whether the funds are allocated for education costs. Better impact because all humanitarian crises are resolved humanly and through political lobbying, both from abroad and from within the country itself. In addition, as we know, the humanitarian crisis and conflict can be resolved through an organization both nationally and internationally. For example, United Nations Organization. In fact, the military often demands fees from their service to the government and a budget instead of bearing the cost of self-defense allocation. In fact, the role played by the military in humanitarian crisis, many problems arise. First, there is widespread concern expressed at the conference that so military forces often care too much about their own security. Armies or peacekeepers often don't understand the context in which they work. Another witness said at the conference is that there are different level of training and expertise among the various components of peacekeeping mission. In fact, using the military in humanitarian emergency has proved very expensive and sometimes inappropriate. For example, in Rwanda, research has described the military content of our friends as 4 to 8 times more expensive than the available commercial operators. In 1994 year, the United States military worked to resolve the water crisis in Goma, Zaire, but quickly moved whether they can't adapt to conditions in the fight. Thank you.
The first speaker spent time fighting the man to say countries for the best I welcome the second speaker.
The honorable adjudicators. Military should intervention in humanity crisis. Why? The military have a strong relation to community of society. Strong relation, this case is the military has often communicate to the community, especially the people who are on the borderline, because it is the belief, especially the people who are on the borderline, because it is the military that maintains the country borderline. In some areas in the borderline, there are regions that are often late in getting humanitarian access, humanitarian assistance because of difficult access. If the military help, If the militarian help, that is more easier because the militarian have a perfect facility to rescue people, for example, like helicopter. In the regional of the regional 19 and 45 28G include about every people on this nation has should protect from the crisis of humanity like terrorism and should have community while in danger like earthquake or tsunami. And the military is one of institution of government. Then the military include on the regional. And And about the regional problem, I think that is a public problem because that is right of every people and not only Myanmar have religion. On every people have religion too. That's all. Thank you.
The second speaker spent 2 minutes and 7 to respond to his time. Second speaker.
Thank you for the chance to give for me. According to government team, only now about a few of the useful in the we are giving the real goal what the motion of today and the government team only now the emphasizing in disaster only can be fixed by military intervention, but the real is can be fixed by economic intervention. Okay. Intervention cause have the reason humanitarian and deliver emergency aid. They do of military is very not proper or true, so many another steps or alternative manner to handle of problem humanitarian or emergency situation. And the military intervention bad manner because need much of the food and catastrophe or act of fatality. The dead human more and more. We have alternative solution or great manner to handle of emergency situation and humanitarian needs problem. We can use of economic intervention, political intervention, diplomatic intervention, classical intervention. We give the symbol as the about intervention. Was time the North Korea in 2000 has failed and passed the emergency air situation. This is star function. Because the North Korea agriculture has a problem. What is the problem we need of military intervention? Of course, no, because in emergency situation, we not need of military intervention, but we need of economic intervention. Another country with help by food, finance, food, and help of solve hunger problem. And of course, it didn't need of military intervention. They need of doctor because the disease or the disaster and intellectual intervention. They need of professor or intellect human to provide their parents' diseases. Military intervention will make many human dead, like in Rongia's disease or cases. In military intervention, so much food people will sorrow. And another reason is, what are for human based are about it? When our fellow human beings are down, that is when they need help the most when they should not covered by guidance. Now, in fact, the guidance seems weak. And not only that, economic losses are also very large. Buildings are destroyed. House, place of worship, school, building are leveled to the ground. What are the losses that occur each year? Better the funds are allocated for education costs. Better, in fact, because of humanitarian crisis is resolved, namely and humanly and through political lobbying, both from abroad and from within the country itself. Thank you.
speaker from the spend time 3 minutes and
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for the opportunity. I'm Melis as the third speaker of the government team. Uh, we strongly disagree from opposition team as example of humanitarian crises like what happened in Venezuela. This crisis, Venezuela. Opposition told that military intervention can solve the problem. We are not talking about who can solve the problem. We're talking about if military can deliver emergency aid in humanitarian crisis. People have always known that emergency aid is not always solving problems directly. So we definitely not agree with government opposition opinion. We can make a new policy and change some law to make the people who is in humanitarian crisis are able to get help faster and safetier because military is already teach to handle several dangerous things while the aid is delivery like some people who want to against the humanitarian. So we are from the government team strongly agree with this motion that government support military intervention to deliver emergency aid in humanitarian.
the government will spend time 1 minute and 15 seconds to respond to case. I welcome the speaker from the opposition.
Okay, thank you for giving the time that given to me. I'm the opposition team. So that once again, as the opposition team, we not agree with our motion for this time. Because for the first, task of the military was to protect the country. Outside of the emergency mission, the military is trained to maintain the integrity of the country. They serve to the country and need to know if the military is standing so hard. So that the mission is not have relation from the background of the military. The military should be on a threat of war system that is the